Liberty activist for 5 decades. Retired apple farmer, science teacher, polymer chemist, business owner. Now part-time hay farmer and political consultant. And my hero.
I didn't get this from Elizabeth Warren. But speaking of the devil, we need to be activists. And every little thing we do helps. One of our good members, whose name is Jackie Costas, lives right here in Worcester, couldn't make it tonight because she has to work. She's wanted to go out and do some standouts, telling the truth about Elizabeth Warren. And she's done 2 because she could only get somebody to go with her twice, one was the person. And we had good success down at Kelly Square. Mostly more thumbs up than fingers, and no real violence except one idiot who thought he was tough and wanted to push my sign and then realized he'd be all over the sidewalk. Yeah. So if anybody would like to participate, tomorrow afternoon, 4 to 6 p.m. at the intersection of Park Avenue and Pleasant Street in Worcester. Very easy place to find, half a block from the Planned Parenthood place where a lot of the pro-lifers protest frequently. We're going to be there. It's going to be at least Jackie and me and maybe a couple others. I think Ted will be there and hopefully a few others. And I know a lot of people work, but if you really want to be a participant and an activist, we've got plenty of signs made in both English and Spanish. And let me tell you just a little bit about Jackie. She's from Peru, but she's a legal immigrant, naturalized citizen, ran for state rep, ran for city council, and she absolutely hates communism because she was in Peru when the communist insurgent group actually took power for several months. So she knows what it's all about. She doesn't like Elizabeth Warren for that reason. I don't like Elizabeth Warren because she shakes her head in her hands and scolds us like we're 8-year-olds and tells us a lot of crap. So we're going to be there to protest. If anybody'd like to join us, we've got signs, or bring your own. Yes, Mike?
Friday afternoon, Concord, Massachusetts, right off Route 2, Concord Carlisle High School. Senator Squall will be there. She starts speaking with forked tongue to white paleface at 6:30. I'll be there. You may hear me. I think I have a large drum.
Some of us might be there too. So anyway, tomorrow 4 to 6 p.m. if anybody'd like to join on that. Now, the other thing, if I could get somebody to pass out these, I know it's going to be the same day that a lot of you are going to Leominster, but this is Concord, New Hampshire anyway. And I'm running the 4th Liberty Advocates of New England Conference. We've had 3 in Massachusetts, we're now going to have 1 in New Hampshire. And we're kind of piggybacking it onto the gun show. Very easy place to find. I know a lot of the people who will be there, and we'll have a good turnout. And the topic is going to be racism in the Second Amendment. So tying into what was said by 2 previous speakers, it's really time that we took the bull by the horns and fought the racism issue because we're the ones who are clean on it. Nobody has a choice of what color their skin is or what their ethnicity is when they're born. So racism is stupid. And there are 3 kinds of racism. There's individual racism, which we all know is bad. And there's institutional racism, which is worse. And there's governmental racism, which is the worst of all. Now, people have been speaking about Donald Trump. And Donald Trump, as Ron Paul said, doesn't really have a philosophy of governance. Donald Trump is what I call a functionalist. And that's good and that's bad. It's good because we can get him to do some things that are good. But we got to be very careful. We got to keep his feet to the fire because he could do some things that aren't so good. Already he's backing down on getting out of NAFTA. Already he's backing down on some of the other things, and as people have said, he's not going to be able to drain the swamp. But we can get him to do some good things. And one of the worst things is racism by the government. Whether it's telling people where they have to send their children to school because of their skin color, or where you can get into school if you have the right skin color or not, or the right race or whatever. Government should be absolutely colorblind. It shouldn't do anything with regard to tallying people by supposed races. Now, on the back of this form, I wrote a brief explanation, and you'll see this is part of the federal firearms form that you have to fill out under penalty of perjury when you buy a firearm. It doesn't include antiques, by the way. If you buy an antique gun, you can get that without doing it. But notice there's a section where the federal government demands that you identify your race. What in the world is that all about? Some of us don't even know what race or races we are. It's ridiculous. And it's un-American. And it's unconstitutional. But Trump is a functionalist. We could possibly get him to use executive order to get rid of this. He's already done it with some other things. That's some of the good things he's done. Well, there's supposedly, as I wrote here, a commission set up on the Second Amendment. Congressman Emmer, Chris Cox from the NRA, ILA, the Institute of Legal, whatever it is.
Legislative action.
Yeah. Very good organization, very good people. They're supposedly the co-chairman of this. But there hasn't been much doing on it. Is Trump fading away from that too? We don't know. But if people would get together and try to influence him and some of our congressmen on this, this commission could possibly get him to do an executive order that would really gain us something. So when you go to buy a firearm, you now have to check off one of these if you want to buy it, and that's under penalty of perjury. Notice there's no longer any other. There used to be an other, but too many of us were putting down American or human or GFY. Yes, John?
One quick question. First of all, you can check more than one. That's an interesting possibility. I thought it sounded funny.
If you want to protest that way.
Yeah, that's the way. And the second item is, when did this form come out?
Oh, they've
I
had this
haven't bought a
form.
gun in a long time.
Well, they've had this form for quite a long time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Revised 2012?
Oh, no, long before that.
Oh. Okay.
Maybe since sometime after the Gun Control Act of 1968.
Oh, I bought
Before
the-
that, you used to buy them through the mail. You know, hell, I bought one from the same place that Lee Harvey Oswald did in 1962, but mine was a better rifle than his. Anyway, I think we need to do some action items. Even little simple ones like this can have some effect. And usually, you write to your congressman like Fidel McGovern or Mafia Neal or any of these other clowns, and it does no good at all. But here's a chance where you might be able to do a little bit of good. I plan to have more conferences, outdoor and indoor, of the Liberty Advocates of New England. And actually, I had planned to do another presentation tonight here instead of this one. Presentation I haven't done for about 20 years. So I was a little bit misled, so I switched back to this information thing. I had thought that you had said this was supposed to be an open mic. And I came prepared
Oh, no.
to have, to get a volunteer help me do that. But, you know, obviously, that wasn't really what you meant. So we'll save that for another time. And hopefully,
That's beautiful.
I'm pleased to see we've got as many speakers as we have tonight. And I'm eager to hear what the rest of them have to say. Thank you.